I aim to help students develop workplace skills in 3 areas. First, the lectures, the tutorials, and in coursework assessments. So first of all, in lectures are focused on solving a workplace problem. And the aim of the lecture is to engage students in a conversation about how we might solve the problem, and therefore to invite them into actually thinking about the method of solving a problem rather than approach the topic on the basis that, hey, there's an accounting procedure here I need to learn. Just tell me what it is and let's get on with it. So in lectures, the focus is on a workplace problem. Having said that though, often the workplace skills that we want to develop are related to skills they already have in their personal lives and in their personal experience. We're talking about cost information. So everyone has some expertise around analysing cost information and making decisions with it. Therefore, in the course of having the conversation about how we might solve a workplace problem, I might actually get them to think about how they might solve a problem in their own personal context and then apply that or apply what they recognise there into just a different context. In regard to the tutorials, I have pre-class activities. As is often the case, the tutorials are focused around the understanding of answers to particular end of chapter questions. In my unit, however, I certainly expect students will attempt those questions on their own, but they're provided with the solutions to those questions before the tutorials. So here I'm asking them to behave more like what would be expected in the workplace, in that I'm asking them to compare their own answers with the ones that have been suggested. Think about it, reflect on how well they understand this piece, work out what kind of questions they need answered in order to better understand it. Inside tutorials, I expect students to take a high degree of responsibility for managing their own learning, to participate in groups, to find answers to their own questions, to help others with answers to their questions. And of course, if any group isn't confident enough about the answers to these questions, then they can call on the tutor. The third area, in relation to coursework tasks, these coursework tasks are 3 quite short written tasks which are completed at different stages throughout the semester. Each of these tasks are framed in a workplace context, and the aim of the coursework tasks is really to try and assess how well a student understands some aspect of the unit. Now, how well a student understands is often evidenced by how simply they can explain the answer. And so the context of these assessments might be the students attending a recruitment interview. The interviewer is not an accountant, but the interviewer asks a question that relates to accounting. The interviewer has some knowledge of the topic. And so the challenge for the student is to explain to a recruitment interviewer, what would you say? And similarly, for other topics, the student might be asked by an executive who's not trained in accounting to very briefly explain, for example, well, how do we figure out the cost of our products here? And so the challenge again is for the student to work out, well, what would he say to an executive who's not trained in accounting? And as I said, the challenge is to do that, you have to have a very good understanding. So these assessment tasks are really quite different from what might be typical on exams.